Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking to you about the week that was in pro wrestling. So that's going to be NWA Power and AEW Dynamite. A very mixed bag of a show, a couple of shows. Not to say anything was really bad, but we'll get into it. So sit back, relax, maybe grab some breakfast, because it's time to get into this one. So you start with NWA Power, get a hype video for the main event later on, which is Southern Six versus Latimer and Idol, where the winning team gets to pick Brian Idol's, the stipulation for Brian Idol's cash-in match for the world title. So that should definitely be interesting. Then we get a Southern Six interview in ring. It's Thrillbilly, it's Alex Taylor, and it is Kerry Morton. With Thrillbilly pretty much taking the lead, saying these people don't just want to see the match Idol wants, which is a no count out, no DQ match. These people want to see something more. So I'm going to take it back to NWA's roots. A match made under the original NWA rules. You go over the top rope, you lose. You spend too much time on the outside, you lose. And if you hit me with a closed fists, that's an automatic DQ. And if you can't beat me clean, Brian, you'll have to do something more hardcore and pick up a rule book and learn how to read. That great heel work by Thrillbilly, picking a OG NWA stipulation, which I'll admit, I kind of wanted to see that. But we'll see what happens in the main event. So next we go to this weird segment. It's back to Dr. Vic's abode. He and Tiffany Nieves are out on some balcony overlooking one hell of a shot of whatever city that is. I'm not even sure. I think it's Tampa, which that wouldn't make sense. And then Dr. Vic kind of hinting at what potentially comes next for these two, which, yeah, that's getting a little awkward. Then Dr. Vic goes in for a kiss. Like, legitimately, he just, Tiffany finally sees what's going on, takes a step back, slaps him in the face. And that slap sounded like a super kick. And Tiffany lays it down thick, saying, guys like you have no shot with me. And you'll learn like the rest of them. And walks off. While Dr. Vic has this deer in the headlights look on him. Honestly, that was rightfully deserved. Dr. Vic was definitely a creep. But this is going to evolve in a second, because it's going to get worse. So then we get a promo from Aaron Stevens saying how Mondo just can't lose. And his opponent, Mondo's opponent for the night, just made the biggest mistake of their life. He's going to show no mercy, and the ring is his sandbox. If you don't know, Mondo's opponent for the evening is Blake Troop. If you don't know who that is, he's former NWA guy. Teamed up with, I believe he teamed up with Zion not long ago. Or was it Zion? It was one of Idol's kids. So, yeah, definitely going to be an interesting little matchup. Speaking of an interesting little matchup, we got the NWA Women's Tag Team titles on the line. And yes, we finally get to a dang match. Took you long enough, NWA. We got Vipress and Serena Vale, who need a tag team name. Like, I don't care what it is, they need a name. As they take on the champions, Marty Bell and Allison Kay, the Hex. And this was a fun little matchup. Really good back and forth. Really good chemistry between all four of these. Well, although you had Vipress and Vale for a good portion of the match, keeping Allison Kay in their corner. Eventually, she does break out and big old hot tag to Marty Bell, who just goes on a tear for a while. Eventually, Vipress and Vale take advantage again. They go for like a shield powerbomb almost, but Marty Bell gets out of it. Tosses Vale to the outside. A Hex marks the spot, which is a heart attack, if you don't remember what that is, to pick up the win and retain their titles. So, yeah, fun little opener. Nothing to really write home about, but if you want to watch it, I'd say it's pretty entertaining. And heck, our first clean win of the evening. I'll get back to that in a little while. Then we go backstage to another Dr. Vic promo. Saying everyone has made mistakes. I've definitely made my own. I've overstepped my boundaries with Tiffany. While I'm not a wrestler, this is an opportunity for a new challenge and prove to the world I'm more than just a man. So he's going to be involved in a 6-man tag a little later on. We'll get to that one. But first, we got the NWA National title on the line as Blake Bulletproof Troop takes on Mike Mondo. And Troop, I'm going to say this, Troop had a great showing in this. It's definitely been a while since I've seen him in a ring. But, yeah, he looked like he hasn't missed a step. And throughout the night, they keep referencing a cut on his back. Apparently, he's a legit MMA fighter. So, there you go. So, Blake Troop was loading up for his finisher. I forget its name. But that gets blocked by Mike Mondo, who finally hits gut check time for the win. So, nice retention of the title. I'm not sure who's going to challenge him next. But I kind of hope it's either Mims or Pope. Although they're going to be having their work cut out for them in the Crockett Cup, which hasn't been announced yet, but I feel like it's coming. So before this next match, we get certain members of the Federation of Champions. So it's Aaron Stevens, Carson Drake, and The Hard Way, which is Jack Vaughn and Mackenzie something or other. I forget the dude's name. I'm sorry. And they're standing alongside Dr. Vic and the tag team who's going to be backing them up, Devastation Reborn, who is this is their main NWA debut. I believe they've been on their version of the Indies, the Territories. That's it. So Dr. Vic, grabs the microphone, says, I'm a man of many talents. I'm a multi-millionaire, author, a doctor of psychology, but I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. So then Carson Drake takes the microphone and says, Doc, listen, I've read some of your books. I wish they were written in Braille so I could feel something. That was a good one. That was such a good zinger by Carson Drake. So then Stevens gets the microphone, says, this only ends two ways. Do things the easy way, but these two prefer the hard way, pointing to his tag partners. So then we get into the matchup. We got Carson Drake and the hard way taking on Dr. Vic and Devastation Reborn. I'm going to say this, Devastation Reborn. My first time watching these guys, they're pretty impressive. Now, they're definitely, powerhouses, but they don't just rely on that. They definitely have some more stuff behind the wheel. Although, anytime they get an advantage, Dr. Vic would tag in and just kind of, Although he did have an impressive atomic drop. That was pretty impressive. And then an interesting cross chop to Jack Vaughn. That was unexpected. Devastation Reborn pretty much had the win in hand. They were going to go for what looked like a high-low. Kind of like what Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch would do as their finisher. But then Dr. Vic, tag me in. Tags him in. Goes in for a handshake with Carson Drake. Drake gets him right into the Capitol's game stacks for a quick submission victory. So, that was definitely another deserved loss. Also out there was Greta, at least, from TVMA. I'm not sure if I saw Tiffany Nieves out there, but they were definitely watching. So next we go back out to Big Crush, which is apparently a video game store, which personally I now want to go visit because I love the video games. Anyway, we have I believe it's the Page sisters' father. He's still complaining about the Kazanas and how he was going to get that money, etc., etc. Slimeballs come in, hype him up even more, saying they're going to buy this store but keep the cashier, which I don't know. That was definitely interesting. Go back to the ring. We get introduced to Daisy Kill's Reign of Terror Open Challenge. And it's answered by Hunter. And yeah, definitely a little unexpected. Definitely a little different from what Daisy Kill would have as an open challenge. These two have some really good chemistry together. Like, it wasn't a long match, but it was definitely an entertaining match, if that makes sense. With Daisy Kill getting a win after a super kick. But as he's celebrating, Lev and Gags come out from the Lost. So I guess this is match 2. We got Lev and Daisy Kill. Definitely more of a good thing. But the finish comes with Gags getting in, trying to get involved. Daisy Kill fights them both off, so that is a DQ win for Daisy Kill. We'll see if that gets turned into a feud, because I think it should. And then the weirdest challenger comes out. It's Eric Smalls. Points right to Daisy Kill. Gets in the ring. Ding, ding, ding. Match 3 of the night for this open challenge. But before anything can get in the way, Gags distracts the referee. I guess it distracts Daisy Kill as well. Eric Smalls, low blow. And then a roll up to pick up the win. So, yeah, well, interesting way to do this open challenge. With it being truly open to anybody at any time. So, yeah, fun way to do it. I do wish 1 or 2 of these matches went a little bit longer, but it was still very entertaining. So then we go back to Big Crush, Slime Balls, and Page Sister's father, still looking for this money. The lawyer AJ Kazana hired for the whole charade walks in. Everyone just turns in like, hey, it's you. And then Page's dad says, you know what we do to people like you to where I'm from? We beat the heck out of you for doing what you did. But I'm not doing that. I want to talk to you over here. They take 2 steps to the side. And the Page sister's father asks, did you know about Joe's plan? Lawyer kind of takes a second, says, look, Joe paid me to do a job. I had no idea what he was trying to do. Slimeball is kind of grimace a little, saying, he's lying, he's in on it. And we know what you did from the word go. So, yeah, I'm not sure what this is leading to. Hopefully it's a counter-sue or something, because if you remember, this was about some beneficiary giving away money, and then Joe Kazana. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But then we get to our main event. We got Tom Latimer and Brian Idol teaming together to take on Thrillbilly Silas Mason and Kerry Morton. And Mason does start it off with Tom Latimer, but he immediately goes to the apron, gets back in, they circle each other, looking like they're about to lock it up. Thrillbilly tags in Kerry Morton, who gets beaten down by both Idol and Latimer. Like, this was unfair for a little bit. Eventually, Kerry Morton does get advantage back, tags in the big man, who goes on a tear. Eventually, Latimer does fight back, which Kerry Morton then blind tags. It's Idol with some elbows. Kerry Morton then literally takes the referee, pulls him to the other side of the ring, while Thrillbilly chokes the life out of Brian Idol. Mason tags back in, stomps a mud hole in poor Brian Idol. It's like this weird, awkward powerbomb. Like, it was not hit flush. Eventually leading to a Boston Crab. Idol gets in the ropes. Thrillbilly tags in Kerry. Hits an axe handle. Big knee. Tags Mason back in. Mason with a big chop. Then low bridge. Kerry tags himself in. Tom gets in. Tom with a big old atomic drop. Couple of clotheslines. A flatliner. Big old DDT. Hits the brighter side of suffering, but doesn't go for the pin right away. fights off both members of the Southern Six for a little bit. Brian Idol gets absolutely destroyed on the outside by the Thrillbilly. Thrillbilly then gets up on the apron. Kerry takes his knee pad down, goes for the kisses goodbye, misses Brian Idol, hits Silas Mason off of the apron, Idol with a super kick, Latimer with a brighter side of suffering to pick up the win and get Brian Idol's stipulation. So that was definitely a fun main event. Overall, a very entertaining show with a heck of a lot more clean finishes, that's for sure. Definitely a step up from last week. But then post-match is something interesting because we got Thrillbilly getting in the face of Kerry Morton. So it looks like we are in the waning days of the Southern Six, which I hope NWA doesn't rush it, but we are definitely getting close to that point. So that was NWA, a very entertaining episode. I definitely recommend going and checking it out. And then that leads to AEW Dynamite. We get a nice little card rundown. And then we go right into our first matchup of the evening. It's a little tag team match, players. Sorry, I had to let my inner Teddy Long out for a second. As we got the Death Riders being represented by Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, taking on members of the Don Callis family, that being Henchicero, which I love doing that, and Konosuke Takeshita. A bit of a big match ahead of Moxley and Takeshita's matchup at Revolution on Sunday. But yeah, this match was so dang good. Everyone has some great chemistry together. Really good back and forth. Eventually, Claudio does get the giant swing off, which that was impressive. Continuing back and forth. Eventually, Takeshita hitting a world's strongest slam leg drop combination for a 2 count. Roll up opportunity only for a 2. Claudio goes for a big splash. Takeshita pulls the ref in the way, so Claudio stops short. Then Moxley with an eye poke and then a roll up to pick up the win for his team. So, yeah, it looks like by go-home math, looks like Takeshita's winning the Continental title Sunday. Or that could just be a ruse and we see Moxley continue with it. Not sure. Post-match, we get a Don Callis family beatdown, including Lance Archer and Mark Davis joining in. Archer then tosses Marina Shafir, who was sitting ringside, over the top rope, which that looked a little scary. Mark Davis then goes outside the ring, grabs a steel chair, hands it to Takeshita, while he and Henchizero are holding Jon Moxley ready to strike. Takeshita takes a look at the chair, looks at Moxley, throws the chair away. So he's talking them down. He doesn't want to do it. Henchizero kind of gets in Takeshita's face for a little bit. Then Henchizero and Mark Davis hold Jon Moxley for Takeshita to hit him. He's like, no. I don't want to do it this way. So they leave Jon Moxley laying and leave the ring. I've got a funny feeling we're about to see Takeshita break out of the Don Callis family. Like, he was definitely Don Callis' OG ward, but it is definitely time for him to maybe not turn face, but at least break out on his own. I feel like he's outgrown the Callis family. Anyway, next up, we are in looks like a parking garage, which is definitely odd, for an interview with Willow Nightingale and her opponent for the evening, current CMLL World Women's Champion, Persephone. If you don't know, she just beat Mercedes Moné for that title. So the eventual breakdown of Mercedes Moné is going to be epic. I can't wait to see that. So Willow reveals this is a match I've been wanting for a while now. I saw your match with Moné, saw you beat her for that. Persephone reciprocates, well, you first beat her for that, padding the TBS title, but I think I hit her harder. Willow retorts, well, I hope you hit me just as hard. Persephone thinks, I don't think you can handle it. They kind of get in each other's face a little. And Willow just says, we'll see. And they walk off. I'm going to tell you this. That match is a whole lot of fun. So then we see Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis. Don Callis hyping up Fletcher for his upcoming match. Talking about how he's going to put down his opponent tonight, Speedball Mike Bailey. MJF walks in, says, I want to see you do that too. He kicked me in the face last week. I want you to kick the shit out of him for me. So Fletcher turns to MJF, says, I don't take orders from you. I'm going to beat him so bad for me, not for you. MJF kind of does his half smile, turns to Don Callis, says, hey Don, teach your guys how to speak to the world champion, and walks off. Then Fletcher's like, turns to Callis and says, we don't work for him, right? Don says, no, he's a little bastard. I wouldn't even think of working for him. I got a funny feeling the Callis family are going to be backing up MJF. Oh, bless me. Sometime soon. And then, oh boy, we get to this match. A really early match of the year candidate. And it ain't even close. It's for the TNT Championship as we get Kyle Fletcher taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. And oh boy, I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to spoil absolutely anything. Go watch this match for yourself. I will say though, the finish is a little disappointing, but I'm not going to spoil it. Go watch it. Come back and let me know. I'm not even going to give you a winner. Go watch for yourself. So next up, we get a little Brody King entrance. And he's still wearing his street clothes. We get a little picture-in-picture revealing he was looking for Swerve. But obviously he's hiding from me. So I have a standby match that I'm going to go out and do. Not even in my gear. So he's out there, and his opponent looked like Carlito for a second. But when we got the zoom in, it clearly wasn't Carlito. And honestly, it doesn't matter what his name is, because he got destroyed. Like, it was a clothesline, Gonzo bomb, done. Like, it was a 2-second match. And it was exactly what it needed to be. So, Brody King's celebrating. He's out in the crowd, high-fiving the crowd. Then a masked Swerve Strickland attacks Brody King from the crowd. Eventually, he does take off the mask. I do think that was kind of making fun of WWE's trope right now of using the big masked man gimmick, which is funny. Swerve gets Brody in the ring, chokes him out with the chain, goes to choke him out with the chain. Eventually, Brody slowly stands up, and he breaks the chain. Like, that's a great moment right there. Swerve then with the deer in the headlights look on his face. And also an oh, I messed up look on his face. He goes to run. Brody gets him by the back of the trunks. Pulls him back in. Hits him with a big old suplex. A cannonball. Then he wraps one part of the chain around his arm. Gets him in the Hangman Sleeper, which is the sleeper hold over the apron. Nana comes in, then attacks Brody from behind. But of course he's not a wrestler, so that does nothing. And Brody just kind of kicks him off. But that's distraction enough for Swerve to not only get out, but hit an arm wringer over the top rope onto Brody's arm to escape. So, honestly, that was a nice, fun segment. Match I won't even talk about because it was barely a match. Although, don't get me wrong, I like squash matches every now and again. But the obvious story was the segment. So then we go backstage for a Speedball Mike Bailey interview. Where he talks about him having a weird couple of weeks, not exactly getting the win. Minor spoiler alert for the match. I gave everything I had, but at Revolution, Don Callis family, you're getting exactly what you deserve. So, yeah, kind of hyping up their matchup. Should be a very entertaining one. Speaking of a very entertaining matchup, we got a little tag team action players. We get Orange Cassidy teaming up with Darby Allin to take on the newly formed team of the Dogs. And yes, I'm going to say it like that because the Dogs just feels generic. Call them the Dogs. DAWGS. It kind of feels better. So, this combination, it's Gabe Kidd and David Finlay, who Finlay just made his debut for the company last week. And this match was absolutely wild. This was a bunch of hard-hitting cats just beating the heck out of one another. Eventually, after some drop kicks on the outside, Clark Connors finally shows up and he nails Orange Cassidy with the tire iron. Like, not even trying to hide it, although I think the ref was distracted. Darby then is on his own for a while. He does fight off the Dogs for a little bit, but eventually he falls to the Dominator by Gabe Kidd and a pile driver from David Finlay for the, actually, other way around, for the 1, 2, 3 and the win for the Dogs. Post-match, we get Clark Connors joining in the post-match beatdown. Then we see David Finlay calling to the back. Everyone turns. Out comes Roderick Strong, who hasn't been on TV in a little while. Gets in the ring. The Dogs then hold Cassidy for Strong to hit. The Dogs then push Cassidy into Roderick Strong's arms. Roderick then drops, pushes Cassidy to the side, and just goes after the dogs, fights them off with a little help from Cassidy and Darby Allin. Then after the dogs are out of the ring, Strong sees Cassidy laying against the ropes. Strong extends his hand. Cassidy accepts, helps him up. So, and then afterwards, Cassidy puts up his hand for a high five. Roderick Strong goes full force on it. And you see Orange Cassidy kind of shaking his hand afterwards. Little details like that are so nice. It is good to see Roderick Strong back. And it does look like we are getting these three against the dogs at Revolution. Which, yeah, that's the right idea. So next up, we got the TBS title on the line as Persephone challenges Willow Nightingale. And while this match was really, really good, it did feel a little bit rushed. Not to say it wasn't really good. These two have some great chemistry together. After an attempted crucifix bomb, which I would have really liked to see, Willow Nightingale shuffles out of it, gets a roll-up victory. So, yeah, we're going to see what Willow's up to for Revolution a little while later. But next we get our hype video for the main event match later on tonight. So it's Dem Bucks, Mark Briscoe and the Young Bucks taking on FTR and Tommaso Ciampa. And I'm going to say this. AEW are doing a really good job upping their production little by little, having these little hype videos during their shows. It's nice. It's good to see them working on stuff. So next we go backstage for a Babes of Wrath promo, with Willow kind of taking the lead, saying, after this weekend, I defended this TBS title against the best of CMLL and Rev Pro. So this coming weekend, why don't we go a little nuts? At Revolution, Cross and Bay meet me and her on 0 Hour for the tag team titles. But later on, Cross, you face me for the TBS title. So, 2 bouts Willow being double booked. I'm interested to see how that goes. Because, could be a 2-for-1 loss. And then we go to our main event match. It's that 6-man tag as Dem Bucks, Mark Briscoe and the Young Bucks, take on FTR and Tommaso Ciampa. And they get into a brawl right away. I mean, it is clear these guys do not like each other. And, yeah, it shows. And they go just move for move. Eventually, FTR gets, I want to say it was Nick on the outside. He hit him with the monitor, one of the monitors from the announce table. It hit that aided pile driver through the announce table, leaving Mark Briscoe, almost called him Jay, rest in peace, on his own. Goes for the J Driller on Tommaso Ciampa, who blocks it, hits the white noise, big running knee for the pin and the win. And then post-match, Ciampa just goes on the attack on Mark Briscoe. Eventually grabbing a couple of chairs, hitting some chair shots on Briscoe. Then he sets them up open ways with the open parts facing one another, kind of setting up a makeshift table almost. And then Ciampa hits that white noise off the middle rope through the chairs. So I don't know if that's going to write off Mark Briscoe, but that's a lot of damage to one man. Then we get another nice hype video, this time for MJF versus Hangman Page. And also kind of a recap of how we got here, including some really early footage of Hangman and MJF at the original press conference that maybe didn't announce AEW, but like introduced AEW as a company, which that's going back a ways. That's 2019, man. Wild. So then here's our main focus for this show. It is the World Heavyweight Title press conference. So we get MJF in, we get Hangman Page in, we get questions from the audience, and they pretty much just did their promos from the previous weeks, which is a little disappointing, but I understand what they're going for. Then MJF says, like, okay, look, you're obviously not winning, so why don't we get a salute to that? I got a couple of beers right here. So he takes these two solo cups full of beer. And it's clear it's not really beer, it's water. Like what Stone Cold used to chug back in the day. So he carries both beers over to Hangman. Tries to give him one. And MJF tries to cheer him, saying, "You'll never be not winning the AEW World Title ever again." Hangman then knocks the beers out of MJF's hand, and he starts just beating the heck out of him. So badly, they make it out into the arena, into the ring. Security is out there to break it up, but that Hangman fights through him. MJF then puts on his Dynamite Diamond ring, goes for the KO punch. Hangman ducks it, hits the Deadeye on MJF. Hangman then goes under the ring, pulls out a board covered in barbed wire, which that is always crazy to see. He gets MJF on the apron, looking for a Deadeye off the apron into that. MJF gets off Hangman Adam Page and runs off to end the show. Definitely a bit of a weak segment, but honestly, the in-ring brawl was great. Teasing what's to come in this stipulation. Texas freaking death match. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing to see. I'm at the edge of my seat. And yeah, AEW is on a roll right now. They got some pretty big momentum, even though they're not exactly getting a ton of people in the arena or watching on TV, which is a damn shame because they should be. But yeah, AEW has definitely found some momentum. It's great to see them come back. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Definitely excited for Revolution. I'm going to try to watch, but I do have a family event to go to. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that. Probably Monday I'll cover TNA Impact. We'll see about Collision because I am apparently dog sitting on Saturday. So, we'll see about that. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.